Russian President Vladimir Putin has presented the West with two options for ending the ongoing conflict, a move that underscored the high stakes involved in the geopolitical landscape. This declaration comes amidst escalating tensions, with Russia explicitly threatening Germany should its Taurus missile be deployed from Ukrainian territory. The warning about the Taurus missiles highlight Russia's firm red lines and its perceived direct threat from advanced Western weaponry in the hands of Ukrainian forces. Such a deployment, according to Moscow, would be met with severe retaliatory measures, potentially drawing Germany into a direct and destructive confrontation with Russia. The rhetoric from the Kremlin indicates a hardening stance, suggesting that any further escalation by Western powers, particularly through the provision of long-range strike capabilities, would be interpreted as a direct act of aggression requiring a robust response. This ultimatum is a clear signal that Russia is seeking to dictate the terms of any potential de-escalation, rather than passively accepting the current trajectory of Western military aid to Ukraine. The Russian threat against Germany is not isolated, but is part of a broader pattern of warning issued by Moscow regarding the supply of sophisticated armament to Ukraine. The Taurus cruise missile, known for its precision and range, is seen by Russia as a significant capability that could be used to target critical infrastructure deep within Russian territory, including Crimea. The potential for such strikes from Ukraine soil, even if launched by Ukrainian forces, is viewed by Russia as an act that would fundamentally alter the nature of the conflict and necessitate a disproportionate response against the source of the missiles. This highly aggressive stance aims to deter Germany and other NATO members from providing further advanced weaponry that could extend Ukraine's striking capabilities. The specific mention of Germany, a key economic and political power within the European Union and NATO, underscore Russia's strategy to fracture Western unity and sow discord among allies regarding their commitment to supporting Ukraine. The threat is designed to create a chilling effect, forcing Germany to reconsider the implications of its military assistance and the potential for direct confrontation. In a related development, President Putin has expressed a willingness to meet with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, but with a significant condition attached. This agreement to a potential meeting, despite the ongoing hostilities, suggests a diplomatic channel, however narrow, remains open. However, the exact nature of Putin's condition has not been fully disclosed, leaving room for speculation and careful analysis by international observers. Past attempts at direct negotiations between the two leaders have often faltered over fundamental disagreement on the conflict's origin, territorial integrity, and future security arrangements. The catch in Putin's offer is likely to involve a demand for Ukraine to make substantial concessions, possibly related to its territorial claims or its pursuit of Western alliance, which may be unpalatable to Kyiv. This willingness to engage in dialogue, even under strict conditions, could be seen as an attempt by Russia to project an image of seeking a peaceful resolution, while simultaneously placing the onus of compromise squarely on Ukraine. The international community is closely watching these developments, with various nations and organizations urging for a de-escalation of tensions and a diplomatic resolution to the conflict. However, Russia's recent pronouncements, particularly the explicit threat against Germany, suggest a heightened state of confrontation. The implications of such a threat extend beyond the immediate belligerent, raising concerns about the potentials for wider regional conflict and the breakdown of established international norms. The situation remains fluid, with diplomatic efforts continuing in the background, but the public declarations from Moscow indicate a firm and uncompromising positions on what Russia considers its vital security interests. The West's response to these ultimatums and threats will be critical in shaping the future trajectory of the conflict and the broader geopolitical landscape. The delicate balance between supporting Ukraine and avoiding direct confrontation with Russia continues to be a central challenge for NATO and its allies. The conditional offer for a meeting with President Zelensky could also be interpreted as a tactical move by Russia, By publicly expressing a readiness for dialogue, albeit with strings attached, Putin might be aiming to portray Ukraine and its Western backers as unwilling to negotiate in good faith if they reject the conditions. This narrative could be leveraged to gain diplomatic advantage and potentially sway international opinion. However, the history of negotiations between Russia and Ukraine since the escalation of the conflict has been fraught with difficulties, with significant gaps in their respective positions on key issues such as sovereignty, territorial integrity, and security guarantees. Any catch from Putin is likely to be a non-starter for Ukraine, which has consistently maintained its demand for the full restoration of its territorial integrity and adherence to international law. The prospect of a breakthrough meeting remain challenging as long as these fundamental differences persist and as long as Russia continues to issue threats against nations supporting Ukraine. The threat to destroy Germany if Taurus missiles are fired from Ukraine underscores the severe risk associated with the transfer of advanced military technology to conflict zones. This specific warning highlights Russia's perception of the Taurus missile as a game-changing weapon that could significantly impact the balance of power and enable Ukraine to strike targets deep within Russian-controlled territories. The language used by the Kremlin suggests that such an act would be viewed not merely as an escalation by Ukraine, but as an act supported and enabled by Germany, thereby making Germany a direct party to the conflict in Russia's eyes. This framing is intended to raise the political and strategic costs for Germany and other European nations considering similar military aid. The international community grapples with the challenge of supporting Ukraine's defense while simultaneously preventing a direct, large-scale confrontation between Russia and NATO, and these threats further complicate that delicate balance. The broader context of these statements reveal Russia's strategy to pressure Western nations into reconsidering their support for Ukraine. By issuing stark ultimatums and threats, Russia aims to create division within NATO and the European Union, hoping to erode the consensus on providing extensive military and financial aid to Kyiv. The specific targeting of Germany, a major economic and military power, is a calculated move to test the resolve of the alliance and to exploit any potential hesitancy among its members. The rhetoric surrounding the Taurus missiles serve as a clear warning that there are limits to what Russia will tolerate in terms of Western military assistance, and that exceeding these limits could have severe and unpredictable consequences. The ongoing struggle for influence and control in Eastern Europe continues to define the geopolitical landscape, with each move and countermove carrying significant implications for regional and global stability. That's all for me for today. If you like the video presentations and you would like to follow for more, hit that subscribe and like button now, and we will continue to build this show for you. Thank you to all of you guys who have subscribed. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much. I will see you soon. Bye for now.